Are you ready?
A Shot of Wrestling, episode 328, and away we go.
Is that the best that you got? We about to go live, are you ready to rock? So take a shot. Oh, so take a shot. Oh, yeah. I'm a street breaker. I'm a heartbreaker. This is my dawn. I'm Ramon Printer. Rick Flair, Nature Boy, about to seek and destroy. It's an SOW. Let me hear you make noise. Take a shot, boy. Is that the best that you got? We about to go live, are you ready to rock? So take a shot.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of A Shot of Wrestling. I'm your host, Buddy, joined once again, the illustrious Marcus Davenport Schwann, the third. I lose track. Your family tree. How you doing today, buddy?
I mean, Putty, it's because you're making up names here. My actual name is your favorite actor, Mark Schwann. That's the name. Nice and easy. I don't know why you're adding the third, the fourth, the fifth. I don't know what you're doing here, my man.
Okay, whatever you say, buddy. I'll follow your lead here, okay? It's third. It's MC3. That's what it was. The third. Marcus Davenport Schwann, the third.
It's
not a hot name,
There's no third.
Quickly.
This is who I am. What respect in the name?
Do you realize how stupid and crazy professional wrestling is? I just want to get this off my chest.
It's pretty wild, yeah. I mean, there's no other industry like it.
I was watching that show, That's My Jam, hosted by Jimmy Fallon, right? It's a musical show, sometimes trivia questions. And during this round, they ask you trivia questions, and if you get it wrong, you have to keep going until you get it right. Mm-hmm. This round, the answer was going to be cat, dog, or bunny. Okay? For Doja Cat, Snoop Dogg,
okay,
or Bad Bunny. Okay?
Right.
So it's Billy Porter. Jimmy Fallon asks him. They competed at WrestleMania. Billy Porter's confused, shocked, doesn't know anything about it, that at all. He goes, I don't know, Snoop Dogg. He goes, no, Bad Bunny. The next question right away was, they're in the WWE Hall of Fame. Billy Porter goes, oh, Bad Bunny. He goes, no, Snoop Dogg. It's just the look of confusion on Billy Porter's face. It's like, this industry's weird. Very weird industry with it we're supporting here. There's a gift to everything.
But that's the beauty of it, though. I mean, like, it's a mix of, like, world-class athleticism with a shitload of drama and a lot of entertainment. So it's quite the variety show. Excuse me. It's quite the variety show. It's SNL on steroids. Literally.
Just a look on Billy Porter's face looks so familiar from an ex-girlfriend who I tried to explain wrestling to, and she had a glazed over look on her face. I guess she watched The Housewives, but whatever. Mark, how you doing today? How's everything going?
I'm doing swell, my man. I'm doing swell. My daughter started daycare this past week.
How'd that go?
So it's been a hell of a transition. It's going well. It's going well on my end here.
Did you cry?
It allows me to get stuff done.
When you dropped her off?
Got a little emotional in the beginning. Yeah, for sure. But I'm able to work out again now. It's freeing me up. So I'm just happy about that. The only drawback is, like, she's not quite used to it as far as the whole napping schedule. So we're figuring that out. But overall, this is a good thing. They're great people over there at that daycare. So she's socializing. She's doing well.
Is she staying there when Ramadan is done? When your nanny comes?
No. This is it. This is it.
Permanently there.
The daycare. She is there until she goes on to pre-K and so forth. Yes,
which will be just like that.
Yeah, man. I mean, already planning her first birthday. It's pretty wild. It goes by so fast.
You know what else is wild?
What's that?
The news that broke this week. Mark, what was trending this week?
Well.
Was there anything?
Well, buddy. That's a loaded question. Lots of big news right after WrestleMania. I mean, WrestleMania, of course, took over the whole Twitter machine, of course, but then followed by that, breaking news in the business world and the wrestling world. Endeavor announced it has signed an agreement to form a $21+ billion global live sports and entertainment company made up of USC and WWE. The sale happened a lot sooner, I think, than we all expected.
Yep.
Right, Putty?
Yeah.
Now, of course, this brought up a lot of questions. What does this mean? A lot of people don't even really know what Endeavor does. I actually I know Endeavor, but I had to do a little research to see, what this actually meant. And no, you didn't have to do so much research because Vince McMahon shortly went on live on CNBC to answer a lot of questions with Ari Emanuel. And one of the things was about the question was really about creative, right? That's grabbing a lot of headlines here. 4 years ago, when Vince McMahon was supposedly turning over the creative to Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman overseeing, he said, I can't personally be in the weeds any longer. And at that same interview, when posed with the question about creative, he says, in the weeds, which I have always loved to get into the weeds in the past, no, can't do that. But apparently that did not last long, because that same night, Monday Night Raw, Vince McMahon was heavily reported to be involved. So much so that there were many rewrites, scrap scripts before and as the show was already in progress directly from Vince McMahon. Apparently morale backstage was pretty low. So much so that a couple of talents, rumored, by the way, one of which to be a big star, felt like they would to either ride the deal out or ask for their release. So, Putty, with all this being said, I have to ask you this. What does this deal mean with WWE going forward? And is Vince's influence actually hurting the product?
That was Vince McMahon? It looked like we're looking at Vicente McMahon with that mustache and slick back, black hair. My man looking good.
Horrible dye job. Horrible dye job.
Horrible.
But why is the mustache coming back? I don't understand that.
I don't. And it's not like a full mustache. It's like one of those little thin razor mustaches. If you will.
What was the villain in Rocky Bullwinkle? It kind of looks like that.
Oh, yeah. On. What was it? Oh, man. I see his
You know
face.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Played famously by Robert De Niro in the live-action movie.
Yes, correct. Facts.
Oh, my God's going to bother me all the fucking show now. What you
You're welcome.
You're welcome. What's your question?
So essentially, this deal with Endeavor. I mean, there's a lot to unpack here. What does this mean for WWE going forward? And apparently, one of the things is that Ari Emanuel wanted Vince McMahon to be involved, wanted him to be head of WWE. And is this actually going to hurt the product going forward?
Looks like it, my friend. Looks like it. Everyone's saying this was
okay. So a lot of people were talking about that on Twitter. So I was curious to hear your input because you're a big Vince McMahon guy. So please,
man. When I heard about this deal, and they brought out the Flow organizational chart, he's the executive chairman, right? Nick Khan is still in to be president. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Things, from what we were told, will be status quo. Then all of a sudden we find out what happened on Raw. People are saying it's the worst Raw after Mania in history. Definitely up there. Nothing happened.
Literally nothing happened. It's crazy. I feel like the last couple of years was kind of like that. So I was really looking forward to this one because this was the first one where Triple H was fully in charge. It's Triple H's show. To bring back the luster of what Raw after Mania used to be. So I was hyped for this one. I couldn't wait.
Yep.
And the first half hour was solid. It was really good. The ending was surprising. We'll get into that later. But the lot of the in between was just like wah wah.
Kept waiting for something to happen. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. The biggest surprise was Matt Riddle coming back.
Meh. That didn't really do anything for me. The biggest surprise, of course, was the end. Again, we'll get into that later.
So,
but,
we've been talking about this stupid fucking sale for it seems like years now, right? It was hyperbole for years. I think I used that correctly. And we talk about Disney, Universal,
Saudi Arabia.
There was a fourth one. And these guys never came up. These guys, I never heard of the word Endeavor before in my life.
Endeavor was involved. So I don't think Endeavor was really taken seriously because of the fact of their ties with UFC. So I don't think people really took it seriously.
It just seems like we talked about, I think it was Disney or somebody. There's been a lot of people saying they want to keep Triple H on. They don't want Vince McMahon involved.
Quite a few, yeah.
But yet, who purchases them is the company that's giving him the keys to the kingdom again.
Right.
How convenient.
Right.
Ugh. This seems like it's collusion all over this.
So Vince McMahon, right? He was on record saying he was only coming back to help the sale of the company.
Yep. And TV rights.
And that was it. And TV rights, right? But a lot of people called bullshit. I think you were in the minority there. I think you took Vince McMahon at his word. We would have to go back in the archives to see that. I'm pretty sure that was the case.
I did. Let him do his thing. If he wants to come back, let him do his thing. If anything happens, we'll wait and see. But let's just take him for his word.
Do you feel betrayed?
Ooh, I felt something. I don't know if it's betrayed or not. I don't think that's the word I'm looking for. It just feels like, come on, dude. Like, we're doing so well, right? All the numbers are up. I read some of the articles. They don't have the numbers in front of me. Ticket sales were up. Revenue was up. Sales were up of merchandise. Everything was going up. Ratings were going up. Now we're going back to where we were last year. When morale was low.
Right.
I think it was a sinking ship. Nobody wanted to come here. People were worried about jumping ship to AEW. Creative was very stagnant, very controlled, very scripted. Now,
and someone made a note. Someone made a note about Kevin Patrick seemingly lost a few points during Raw, and that's because no one has been yelling at his ear set while he's been on commentary for Raw. It makes you wonder: was Vince McMahon screaming in his ear?
Probably.
That could rattle you.
Sounds like it was. He was sitting in a gorilla. He was controlling the whole show. I don't know, man. He wasn't there tonight for SmackDown. I think Triple H was in charge tonight, and SmackDown was a good show.
Apparently, Vince McMahon was involved in a Zoom meeting beforehand, went over the show, made some minor changes, and that was that. So, I mean, SmackDown was overall better. I wouldn't say it was an amazing show, but it was overall better than what happened with Raw. At one point, I was kind of thinking with Night 2 of WrestleMania, because Night 2 I felt like was significantly different from Night 1. Night 1, if that was just a solo show, I would have been like, this is probably the best WrestleMania I've ever seen.
True.
This was amazing. From start to finish, I thought it was awesome. But then Night 2, great moments, for sure, great matches, but it felt different. And it made me think, I joked about it with friends. I think you were in a text thread for this, like about, it was Triple H in charge of Night 1 and Vince McMahon in charge of Night 2. It may have been the case.
Maybe. I doubt it, but maybe. I think we said the same thing last year. I think Night 2 was a little bit not as exciting as Night 1 last year. And this year followed suit. But man, and now people are already talking about leaving already. You just mentioned a couple of people are wanting to jump ship or wait till the contract runs out.
Rumor has it. So that's allegedly, of course, we don't have those backstage connections. This is a report from Fightful right here. Of course, they have better connections than we have, but not always right. So we have to see about that. But
very believable.
If it is true, right? I mean, like they tend to be right more times than not. But if it be true, I mean, that's a big deal, and it makes you kind of wonder who these names are. I mean, Drew McIntyre, his contract is running up. That would be a big name. Again, we're speculating.
But man,
it's
just, me, I'm a huge fan of the one Mr. LA Knight.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon was not. Vince McMahon left. We got LA Knight back. And now Vince is back. We don't know what the future holds for my man here.
Apparently, right before Gunther's big push, Vince McMahon wanted to squash Gunther. What does that mean for someone like him? Mm-hmm. What does this mean for Bray Wyatt?
Yeah.
Who hasn't been involved lately? I don't know what to make of that. Some of the recent signings or re-signings. What does it mean for Bayley? I mean, Bayley put a cryptic tweet and then wasn't seen or mentioned on Monday Night Raw. Apparently pulled last minute. I mean, there's a lot going on here, and I think it's troubling. It's troubling. At one point before the whole creative news got out, I questioned about Endeavor because of are they going to go the UFC route? Eventually, taking away, these we call them pay-per-views, but what do they call them? PLEs?
Premium live events.
Premium live events, excuse me. Are they going to put these, instead of doing PLEs on Peacock, are we going to go back to the pay-per-view route for $80 a pop? Because that's what they did for UFC, and it's working phenomenally well for them. Would they do at WWE? I would say yes. So that was a concern. But I feel like this is the biggest concern about Vince McMahon staying in charge, and Triple H obviously in the role of what Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman was before, and that didn't last long.
Nope. They're going to run WWE the same way they're running UFC. Somebody from Endeavor said, I think it was that Ari guy, business-wise. Behind the scenes, promotions, marketing, that kind of stuff. WWE will be run as it normally has. Now Vince is back. It just seems like it throws a cog in that whole wheel of, like you said, the morale now does seem low. And backstage morale is very important to his product. With AEW, AEW's morale is very low, and the product suffered for it.
Right.
So,
right.
It's very concerning going forward. It doesn't seem like Endeavor was outbid. Like Endeavor outbid Disney or Universal. It just seems like it was a ulterior motives to this deal. Well, we'll see what happens again. They did a great job with UFC. I didn't even know and UFC was owned by anybody. Again, I didn't even know what Endeavor was. so I don't know much about the company itself.
But keep in mind though, the difference there though is Dana White. Dana White, his finger's still very much in the pulse. He's a young guy. The UFC base, they love Dana White. Vince McMahon is almost 80 years old, out of touch, power hungry. Like, no joke, man. I feel like I'm watching Succession right now. This is insane. And I think that's the biggest difference. Like, no one wants him there. No one wants him in charge. The only person that wants him in charge is him.
Yep.
By any means necessary, even if it means burning it all down to the ground.
I wonder what Nick Khan thinks.
I don't know if Nick Khan really cares. Like, he's getting paid.
True.
I don't necessarily know if he's a man that's passionate about wrestling. I think he's passionate about his job security and what gets him paid and doing the best job possible. I really think that's all he cares about. I don't necessarily know him being a wrestling guy.
I think he is. I know he's close to The Rock, and they grew up together, or they were involved in wrestling together somehow. But then he did his own thing, and he came back. But yeah, this is the world we live in. We're in a new era, I guess. The Endeavor era. The Endeavor era. Oof, that's a tongue twister. So we'll see, man. So far, week 1, or mid, as the kids say.
Oh, allegedly though, this is going according to plan.
We'll see, man.
Like they're very happy with Raw after Mania and the negative attention it's been getting.
Yeah,
so like,
no such thing as bad press is good press, right? Whatever that saying is. No such thing as bad press. But again, this is just the fallout of WrestleMania. Once the smoke settles and we get back into the motion of day-to-day, week-to-week operations, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. I'm not optimistic, and I try to be all the time, but this one's unsettling.
And that's big coming from you, a big Vince McMahon guy. But moving on here to AEW, buddy. WWE's competition, if you will, right? Draven at Wrestling Covers. Tony Khan announced All In for August 27th in London from Wembley Stadium. This will be the first time a wrestling event has been held at Wembley Stadium since SummerSlam of '92, which is a big deal. Putty, why is this such a big move? Why was this the biggest announcement or the most important announcement Tony Khan has made for AEW?
I don't know.
Really?
Isn't this the one held in Vegas every year? Isn't it like always held in Vegas, or is that the other one? It's All In, All Out, right?
Right.
I think it's All Out, maybe. I think it's maybe All Out's in Vegas.
I do get them mixed up myself.
This is the first big pay-per-view for them outside the United States. This is one of their biggest pay-per-views, right? One of the main 4.
This will also be their biggest arena. Wembley Stadium is massive.
Wembley Arena, I believe, has not held a wrestling event that size in a while because of there's the other
Wembley
arena.
Stadium, get respecting the name, my man.
I think it's the O2 Arena now. I think that's the one, the bigger one. So props to them going back to Wembley. That is a historic, iconic stadium. Good for them. Good for them. We saw what we did with Arthur Ashe Stadium. That was huge. So
but Arthur Ashe Stadium is only 19,000 people, I believe. Right?
Yeah, but they still jam-packed that thing. It was an
arena,
still
jam-packed that
stadium. They packed it in.
But Wembley Stadium is let me see how many.
In an arena that doesn't hold that many people normally. They don't like Arthur Ashe Stadium doesn't hold concerts. Arthur Ashe Stadium doesn't hold plays or.
Wembley Stadium is 90,000 people. Well, that's more than 4 times the amount of what was filled at Arthur Ashe Stadium.
You know what I mean? I'm not talking about the size. I'm just talking about the enormity of filling in a stadium that doesn't hold that many people normally. And now you're going over across the pond to a very wrestling crazed city and fandom. It's going to be huge for them, man. Assuming they're going to do well. Clash of the Castle is a huge success. This is going to be a huge success. Congratulations to them. Probably their biggest event to date.
Okay, so I'm concerned / excited at the same time because on the precipice. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Okay. On the precipice of the news of what happened with WWE, we have an AEW, this massive announcement, right? Mm-hmm. And this could, I think, will either make them or break them. If they're able to sell out Wembley Stadium, right? And there is no doubt they're going to put on a great show. I think they're going to put on a phenomenal show over there. But I think the biggest thing will be the reaction. Will you sell out? Will the fans pop? Will you get great buzz from this? If that is the case, then I think that catapults AEW to another level, right? If it flops, if they can't sell seats, if there's a lack of reaction, if there's a lack of buzz, Ooh, that's going to hurt. That's going to sting.
It's not going to fail. It's going to be huge. It's London. It's a rather wrestling-friendly town. They're going to do fine. It's going to be huge.
Right,
success.
but like, how big is that audience for AEW, though? You know, AEW, an American company, it's struggling to still sell out and get the ratings consistently here. I mean, they're like, I enjoy AEW. I like AEW. We know people in AEW, right? And the product is good. It's just a matter of, you know, getting a larger audience, I think. And this is a huge gamble, man. You talk about going all in. Oh man, they're going all in. It's exciting.
Yeah,
you know, I want them to succeed.
WWE sells out anytime they go over there because how often do they go over there?
Right, but that's WWE though. They're well known.
Yeah, AEW will be fine. They sold out when they went to. Didn't they have like an event over there? Or am I thinking of it in Canada? Didn't they have an event in London one time?
I think they went to Canada. I think this is their first time going to London. I believe.
I thought they went to London once, but I'm sure. I have no doubt it's going to be a huge success for them. Congratulations. I'm not worried about it at all.
Okay. Again, would you agree then if they succeed, that puts them at a whole other level?
I don't know about that.
So this announcement to you is like, fuck it, whatever, cool.
No, it's very I won't say ballsy, but very good for them. Very forward thinking. Let's try to test our audience, see what we can do overseas. Let's try to crank the notch up a little bit.
They're cranking up double, man, because they could have easily done a stadium here in the United States. They didn't just go for any stadium. I mean, the fact that they went for Wembley Stadium is massive for so many reasons. You know, again, just talking about the history of it, you know, SummerSlam 92, that place was sold out. And what a pop. Like, you had probably one of the biggest pops in wrestling history at the end of that show when British Bulldog beat Bret Hart for the Intercontinental Championship, a match that made me a fan of wrestling. So that's big shoes to fill for so many reasons. Can AEW do it? I think that's the biggest question going in.
They'll be fine.
I hope so.
It's a great time to be a wrestling fan. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan. Everyone loves wrestling these days. People are hungry, thirsty for it, especially over there. We'll be fine.
All right, buddy. Mr. Optimistic, as always. I love it. But that's all I have for the news. That's what dominated this past week. I do have an interview, buddy. Are you ready for this one?
Yes.
I am here today with a returning guest. This one, you know, for the past few shows, we've had BCW guests on. This one is not from BCW. Shocker. I know. But ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Canada's only drag wrestling star, Alice Starr. How you doing, my man?
There we go. Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. So let's dive right into this. So a lot's been going on since the last time you've been on the show here. Yeah. You are working on, you do something called Drag Heels, a popular show right now, right?
That's right. Yeah, Drag Heels.
Talk to us a little bit about that. You know, how did that come to be? Season 3, right? It's out right now.
That's right. Yeah. So, you know, I was contacted to be on the show. And at the time, I didn't know too much about it. I did know that it existed, of course. It's a show all about drag queens within Canada. And I thought, you know what? I think this is an opportunity to show a whole new side of Alice Starr. And so now it's premiering. I think it's the 7th week right now. 7th episode has aired. And it's been a fantastic ride from start to finish.
So you were aware of the show before it happened, before you got cast on it. So they reached out to you.
That's right.
They reached out to you. Well, what was it about you that attracted you to them? Did they say?
Yeah, I mean, I think my story, really, being Canada's first and only drag queen pro wrestler, there's something to be said about that, and there are stories to be told. And I do that every single time I step into the ring. But now, you know, the drag world is getting something that's totally different within they're getting the wrestling side of the entertainment industry, just the same way that I brought drag into wrestling, so to speak.
It's interesting. It's funny because like it's your person that walks two different worlds, right? And in wrestling, right? Everyone's a wrestler there, but there's hardly any drag queens in it. So it's like you stand out in that way. But then in the drag world, I take it there's not many wrestlers in that world. So you stand out in that way. So it's pretty funny. So you got a chance. I understand you got a chance to wrestle on the show.
That's right. Yeah. Not to give too many spoilers away since it hasn't aired yet.
Yeah.
But
Let's be as vague as possible then.
yeah, no. I mean, I don't think I signed an NDA that I can't talk about it, but
There it
for
is.
everybody's sake, yeah, I got the opportunity to wrestle within this sold out theater, Buddies in Bad Times in Toronto, and it was over 2 nights. Absolutely incredible. The place was electric, not just for me, for everybody, all the performers, but I had a fantastic time and it turned out amazing. Let's just say I don't end the match on my back or submitting,
Okay.
yeah. So I think I'll come out on top on this one, but I think it's a wild ride and everybody's going to have, they're going to get a whole new respect for drag. And I think on the other side, yeah, whole new respect for the wrestling community.
So last time we talked about, you being a drag star in wrestling, right? And basically how the wrestling promotions kind of react to that. How does the drag community react to you as a wrestler?
I think it's met with a lot of enthusiasm. The idea is a whole lot easier for drag queens to digest because there's inherently, although like when you boil it down, there's a political element. There's also such a fun element to it where people don't take themselves too seriously, or at least most people don't. And there is a bit of that in the wrestling world, of course. It's filled with some crazy characters, but some people don't quite understand what I'm trying to do. But in the drag world, it's unique to say the least. But to everybody, I think it's something that is admirable because it's something new, something fresh, just the way that I admire people that are trying to do different things within whatever realm they're in.
Did you turn any of them into fans?
You know what? I think so. I don't know. At the shows, I think, I had a lot of people coming up to me afterwards saying that like, wow, that was so much fun. Or, hey, I've been to wrestling once. I went to Greektown or I went to wherever it was. And I had an amazing time and this brought me back. It's wonderful to not only help people bring back memories of their childhood or whatever it may be, but to create new memories and hopefully turn some people into wrestling fans at the same time.
I mean, isn't that the goal at the end of the day, right? To turn the non-believers into believers. I think it's always fun seeing, a person like, oh, you do that fake stuff, wrestling? But then like you so slowly get them to be a fan. And that's pretty cool to see. It's like, I got one.
Yeah, for sure. And, that word obviously is thrown around a lot, but, there's nothing fake, first of all, about being 6 feet in the air and being body slammed.
Absolutely
nothing fake about that. But, alternatively, on the other side of what wrestling is, the stories that I'm telling out there are truthful. This is my life. They're coming from my soul. And so, there's nothing fake about what I'm trying to say to people. And of course, that's the common term people use. But listen, everything that I say, everything that I do is 100% honest and transparent and me and Starr.
So speaking about, your personal story, I think there's a stark difference actually this time around you interviewing from the last time, because last time you're in your full.
That's right.
Drag attire, and here you are without it. And but seeing you in the social media world, like, opening yourself up more as a person. Talk to me about that decision right there, because I can imagine, especially when a wrestler kind of like drops kayfabe, if you will, but like, this goes to a deeper meaning.
Yeah. What
was the thought process behind that, and how do you feel about it?
Yeah. Anybody can go back and see on my social media, official Starr. I did cover my face, and I always thought nobody's going to care about Tyler. They only care about Alice. And throughout this process, being on the Drag Heels process, being in front of the camera and knowing that this is going to be going out to, God knows how many people who are going to be watching this around the world. It's accessible and internationally. It was part of my journey on the show was really discovering who Alice is, but who Tyler is. And it really came to the point where I went, it's the same thing. Like Alice and Tyler are the same people. And, I talk about the honesty in what I do. And that's really what came through in Drag Heels. And I figured, you know what, maybe this is a good opportunity to showcase, if I don't have the drag makeup on, then people can see that I'm a real person and what I'm saying is truthful. And then at the same time, when you come and see me wrestle, I'm going to be head to toe drag. And it's a spectacle. So I really, really love the dichotomy of having both options.
Have you ever considered wrestling as Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a completely different experience. Of course, it's hard to compete with, the massive hair.
I can only imagine.
And sparkly and the crazy, crazy makeup that you can see from like 16 miles away. But, there's a lot of freedom in not doing that as well. Making sure your eyelashes are still on is kind of a painful experience.
Right.
But, maybe that's something that I will explore in the future if I feel that like that's right for me in that moment.
I just feel like there's just so many layers there, of course, and I think that tends to be the best type of character work in wrestling, when there's just so many layers, and then when it's truthful as well. For you definitely have a lot of depth as a person, hence therefore you could bring as a character to Alice Starr, which can transcend wrestling, if you will.
That's I'm trying not to be displaying my ego here, but in all honesty, Canada's first and only drag wrestler is amazing, but I'd really love to be Alice Starr, the entertainer. I grew up playing music. I started playing music at 10 years old, and here I am much older, and I've been playing music my whole life, and that's something I'd love to do. I've done some acting here and there. That's being a wrestler is absolutely fantastic, but you can't do that forever. Your body is going to break down, and we've seen it time and time again. And at the same time, creatively, there's a million things in wrestling that I've yet to do and I want to do. But that's not my only interest in life. But that's where I am right now. Wrestling is what I'm committed to, and being the best I can is really the number one goal.
Wrestlers talk about that quite a bit, and something so mainstream like the Bella twins, right, or the Garcia twins right now. They talked about that towards the end of their careers, and when they started Total Divas, then Total Bellas, and Bella Nation, and every brand that came up with that. But I feel like reality TV, like Total Divas, totally opened a door for them to step into that world. Do you feel like Drag Heels is doing that for you?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah.
What then would be the next step for you? What's the next move that you ideally would like to make?
After wrestling or just
after this journey here with Drag Heels? Like what's the next thing for you?
Well, I've already got some amazing opportunities lined up. Nothing to announce right now, but once I do, everybody will know about it. But yeah, it's a launching pad in a lot of ways, because personally, I was able to step outside my comfort zone, become vulnerable in ways that really are not weaknesses. It's become a strength. And I think people are latching onto that, which is amazing, because if they're able to understand that, then maybe it can change someone else and help someone else. So ultimately, Drag Heels, I'm using it as an opportunity for people to understand what I do and change maybe someone else's life through the process.
I think that's amazing. I think what you do, like the way you step into wrestling, right? It doesn't necessarily mean like, you're just a wrestler and that's it. You see so many wrestlers that fall into that trap, unfortunately. But you're thinking a bigger picture. You're thinking about a brand. Let's just call it what it is.
Sure.
And it seems like your goals and your dreams are bigger than just wrestling, bigger than winning championships, bigger than going to the main stage of WWE or AEW, or Impact or whatever insert promotion here. It seems like you want more to transcend, to spread your message.
Yeah, that's entirely it. Listen, like working for the WWE, Impact, AEW, whatever else you can list off, that's absolutely fantastic. Being the champion at said promotion, that's absolutely fantastic. And that gives validity to what I do, and hence why, I do want to be a champion. But more than anything, being a champion is not about the belt. It's about being a leader, and it's about having a moral compass in the things that you do, because belts come and go, but legacies are forever. And so that's something that I try to keep in mind is, what do I want my legacy to be? Do I want it to be, hey, they won X championship, or hey, they were a great community member, they were spreading great messages, changed people's life, the same way that, I know people that I've been inspired by have changed mine. And that's all I'm trying to do, is just pay it forward.
That's, again, incredible, especially in the environment that we live in today, because I feel like, when the topic of drag gets brought up, it's controversial right now,
Sure.
Unfortunately, especially in the United States. I don't know how it is in Canada, but
yeah.
Okay.
Not so much in Canada, but the United States for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you hear about it all the time with different laws being passed, et cetera, different talking points on whatever news channel you watch. And has that been a detriment for you? Like, have you had to deal with certain promotions where it's just like, because of that, like it kind of holds you back? Did you even have conversations? Hey, can you tone it down, or can you not? Like, has that ever come up at all?
I've had things here and there from promoters. Normally, if I'm booked, it's because they like what I do. But even getting through the door can be difficult sometimes because of exactly what we're talking about. It's such a controversial thing, even in recent time, for sure, with tons of bills trying to be passed throughout the United States, and Kane coming after me directly, clearly. So doesn't want me to wrestle in Tennessee.
That's crazy.
But which is the realistic thing, if these laws are put into place, I may not be able to wrestle in certain states. That's just the fact. Or maybe it's not even safe for me to do so.
Which is even bigger deal. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Which, just makes me remind myself why I do what I do. I'm not a martyr. I'm choosing to do what I do, but it's because I've always felt like an outcast throughout my life. And here we are, a drag queen pro wrestler, and drag's under fire in the United States. That's a huge market for me that I want to be able to wrestle in front of. And so it's super scary, but hey, it is what it is.
Oh, I have to say, speaking from the heart here, I truly admire that, though. Like, I think the easy way out would just be like, all right, well, like, I guess I'm just not going to do that. And, I'll still get to wrestle in the United States. But no, because that goes against everything who you are and what you believe in.
Yeah.
So you stay true to who you are, staying true to what you believe in, and, damn them, damn them for doing that. That's, I don't want to work there anyway. Fine. Screw it.
Well, yeah, sorry to cut you off, but there's right and wrong in these situations, right?
Yeah.
And with these bills that are being passed, it's not a matter of opinion. It's not a matter of anything other than that. It's just right or wrong. I don't have a say in a lot of ways because I can't go vote in the United States, but I can try my best while I'm over here on the Canadian side with platforms like this. And every time I step into the ring, showing that drag performers are not the enemy. They are not the enemy. I'm just there to entertain and inspire. And if people can't see that, then and they're going to be left behind. But I just got to keep doing what I do and stay focused on my mission.
Listen, I'm rooting for you, man. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for the whole drag community. I'm rooting for everyone, because at the end of the day, you said it perfectly. I mean, you're people with the same type of dreams, same type of goals, same type of ambitions as anyone else. And, who are they? Who is anyone to say no to you just because of who you are and what you do? It's not harming anyone.
No.
Sorry to get my soapbox here with this, but like I do feel very adamant about this. And I just, my country, what's going on here, I do apologize for it. But it's not me, damn it. All right.
Hey, all right.
But listen, Starr, thank you so much. Where can they find Drag Heels? Where can they watch that?
Yeah, it should be available on Vimeo. If you go onto my Instagram account, you can see @official Starr. I'm having trouble with that one tonight, but I'll have a link tree set up there so everybody they can find Drag Heels. And again, it's available internationally, but in Canada, it's available on OutTV, which is through Amazon Prime, OutTV app. You can get it on Apple TV as well. That's the last one.
Boom. Apple TV. That's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
But Starr, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. In the meantime, back to TV Takedown.
It's time for this week's TV Takedown.
A big thank you to Alice Starr. What a story, man. Like, I have to say, I have so much respect for someone that just stays true to who they are, stays true to their message and their brand. So many obstacles against Alice Starr, including in the U.S., especially in the U.S., but not stopping from accomplishing their dream. And I admire that.
You should. Good, especially today's day and age. Whew.
Right.
Good for them. Good interview. Thanks for coming back. Appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you, Alice. Always welcome to the show. And you can check out Drag Heels. Yes.
Drag Heels?
Drag Heels.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mr. Shawan, did you enjoy WrestleMania? What's your thoughts?
I did, Putty. My thoughts? Well, I thought the whole show, it was a banger. I mean, we said earlier before, I thought night 1 was incredible. Night 2, lots of cool moments. A couple misses there, but I think the biggest one that was talked about that night, Putty, Jack Cassidy at Real Jack Cassidy. WWE passed on Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes, 2 completely over babyfaces with what people were calling the best storyline of the past decade. For what? So Roman could it 1,000 days? I guess so Roman could have 1,000 days. I think that's what he's saying. The worst! Buddy, I know a lot of people had their reactions to this. I feel like a lot of people thought Cody Rhodes was going to win. I was one of them. At this point, though, who can stop Roman Reigns, though?
There's only one person, man. Only one person.
Who's that?
Father Time. Okay? Nobody can stop this guy. He's untouchable. Everyone thought
Roman Reigns is just going to relinquish the belts one day.
Everyone thinks it was Cody Rhodes' time. And the fact that it wasn't, and that he won, awesome. Like,
you liked it.
I thought Cody Rhodes was going to win. I expected him to win. Usually us smart wrestling fans expect something, feel something's going to happen. It happens. It didn't. Oh, I think I lost that bet on the Carson pool. But, man, good job for them swerving us. Yeah, am I gonna lose my shit like that kid did in the stands? No, good job. They're telling the story better than I could have. Something's going on here. They have the end game in mind. This is awesome. I'm loving it. Give him 1,000 days. The worst? No. Awesome. Awesome.
By the way, who won that poll? I feel like he still didn't even announce us the winners, but
yeah, I was going to ask you. Did I miss something? I think I owe somebody money.
I just realized I should probably text him what happened here? Anywho, yeah, I mean, there were certain points where people were bringing up joking like, "Oh, imagine Roman wins." Yeah,
because nobody thought he would.
Imagine if Roman wins. But I think it was a joke. But then as people started getting more serious about it, like, oh, what if Roman wins? Because people started putting the number together. Oh, they're getting closer to 1,000 days. That could be a thing.
Oh, like 3
and
months
it seems
away,
like
right?
that. Yeah, it's very much going to be a thing. Roman. When I was looking back at it, it was a great match, man. It was a great match. And the fact that we're all talking about, the fact that, we all felt that sense of, like a punch to the heart, I think, honestly, that's a great job.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and bitch about the booking for that. I think that was phenomenal. Would I have loved to see Cody have won? Yes. Am I heartbroken that he lost? Yes. Does it mean that it was a bad job? No, not at all. Now, as far as I think the bigger question is then who's going to beat Roman? How does this play into the grander scheme of things? Is it worth it to get to the 1,000? At this point, I say fuck it.
Fuck it.
I've joked before about going for Bruno Sammartino's record. Go for it. Go for it, because guess what? Roman Reigns is 37 years old. By the time he beats Bruno's record, he'll be 41 years old. Mm-hmm. Still can do it. Still can compete at a top level at 41. Finn Balor is in his early 40s. Bobby Lashley's in his 40s. Edge is in his 40s. Randy Orton in his 40s. AJ Styles in his 40s. It can be done. And if Roman Reigns, if he's saying that he's just in the third inning here, the bloodline's not stale. They have so many layers to this. They have creative ways in how to make this effective to last till Roman Reigns is 41, till he beats Bruno Sammartino's record. Imagine that. About a record that no one thought was possible for that to be broken. And who better than Roman Reigns?
I can't imagine that. No, I can't. What, 6 years? It would be 7 years? I can't imagine another. I can't imagine that.
At the very least, it is still possible. If he goes into WrestleMania next year, he's going to be in the top 3 in that category of longest title reigns. So at the very least, I think they're going to get him into that place because they definitely want him being Hulk Hogan, right?
Oh yeah, I can see him being champion next Mania. Absolutely, walking in as champion next Mania. Again, he hasn't defended that often, so we don't have to worry about like he's beating like 12 guys in a year. No, he's beating like 2-3 guys in a year. So
he's not going to be at Backlash.
No.
I mean, who's going to be him at this point? Dude, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be anyone new. I think we're going to do another lap here of some sort of the main competitors.
I don't think it's going to be The Rock. I don't think it's going to be The Rock. I heard someone say next year's Mania.
It's not going to be The Rock.
The Rock makes no sense for The Rock to beat him. So
At this point, no. But Roman Reigns, he's untouchable, man. And like I think at this point, honestly, I personally believe go for the record. And whoever that person is going to be probably someone from the Indies that will rise up to NXT, go to the main roster. Who knows who's going to be? Maybe it's Austin Theory. I don't fucking know. But let's just enjoy the ride.
Do you think they'll cut it off though before Mania and whoever wins Money in the Bank?
No, I at this point,
just cashing in on to beat Roman is the only way I can see someone beating him. Cashing in on him after a grueling match like WrestleMania, the only way you can beat Roman Reigns these days.
At this point, it would cheapen his story. It'll cheapen his arc if that happens. I think at this point, like you have to make his loss meaningful. Like when he does finally lose this, whoever beats him is going to be the most over babyface probably of all time. Just because of the fact of like the magnitude of the storyline and how long he's held it and how long he's been in the top spot and not being stale. I think that's a big deal. And you have to handle it stealthily. You can't just do this with a cash in. You can't do it at a random pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia. You have to do this right. And you have to do this in the biggest stage possible, which will be WrestleMania 40. But moving on, Putty. So speaking of Cody Rhodes, speaking of heartbreak, I'll go to Monday Night Raw here. Chan Man at Chandran the Man. I think I may have butchered that.
Definitely did.
Rock has needed a legitimate top babyface to feud with for years. Cody being in a feud with a heel monster, Brock Lesnar, solidifies Cody as a top-tier babyface. If Cody isn't getting that title anytime soon, I think this is a very good move. Of course, talking about Brock Lesnar's surprising ending to Monday Night Raw, the Raw after Mania, where he F5 Cody Rhodes and beat the living hell out of him. Does this feud, right, with Brock Lesnar turning, this solidify Cody Rhodes as the top babyface in WWE?
He wasn't already? I figured the moment with John Cena, quote-unquote, passing the torch, solidified him as the top babyface. There's nobody else on his level. Maybe a Sami Zayn. I know it's only Sami Zayn for the storyline he was given. Cody Rhodes is untouchable, top babyface in the company, yes. It definitely solidifies him as being the top babyface for any other doubters for some reason. Yes, he's the guy. And I agree, since we're not going to see Roman Reigns for a while, God knows when, entering into a feud with Brock Lesnar, great way to hold us over and make Cody come out even stronger after that tough loss, his first loss since coming back. So yeah, I agree. He definitely, hands down, top babyface, absolutely.
The top babyface. So then why not win the championship? I mean, like I feel like if they really believed that he was the top babyface, they would have had him win at WrestleMania 40. WrestleMania 39, excuse me. I think Sami made them question whether he was the top babyface. I think the fact that Sami Zayn got so over, because at one point he was definitely, and some could still say he might be more over than Cody Rhodes. And that would make him the top babyface. And they don't want him being the top babyface of the company, clearly. Obviously they want Cody to be the guy. And the fact that you have to sit here and wonder, is it Cody or is it Sami? That goes to show, they didn't believe Cody was ready to beat Roman Reigns. So they're putting him, obviously, into this feud with Brock Lesnar, which I don't think is just going to be a one-and-done thing. I think, if they do it right, they can get, a couple, maybe 3 matches out of this one.
Yeah, definitely.
And eventually put Cody somehow, some way back into this hunt. Maybe, if he succeeds in this feud here, to then solidify himself. This could solidify him as a top babyface. Of course it could. If can you imagine Cody Rhodes beating Brock Lesnar?
Yeah,
clean,
easy.
No, but think about this version of Brock Lesnar that we're seeing right now, that monster, the beast incarnate. right? Who was with Paul Heyman, who destroyed John Cena, who's destroyed Randy Orton, who's destroyed so many people in WWE. For Cody Rhodes to beat that monster, I think would do wonders for him. That would put him back in that spot, and I think that would, especially after the beating that he took, would win over the fans.
And again, I think you're in the minority here. I believe everyone thinks Cody Rhodes is the top babyface in the company. I think Sami Zayn is a close second, but his reactions are getting not as loud as they used to be during the Bloodline ending. I think Cody Rhodes losing at WrestleMania was the right choice. I don't think he lost because he wasn't ready. It's a better story. Cody Rhodes is undefeated here in WWE since he came back. Give him a loss. If Cody Rhodes came back undefeated and won the title, a little too obvious. Oh, okay. Not obvious, the wrong word, but it just seemed not as good of a story, even though I thought it would be. But now that it happened, I'm like, yeah, he needed to lose. He needed to lose here and come back.
But then, okay, so going with obvious. So
no,
then,
I didn't mean obvious. I meant the wrong word, so I take that back.
Because then, if it's so obvious, I was going to say, like, then WrestleMania 40, obviously Roman Reigns has to lose there. You can't, like, I feel like you can't have Roman lose in a random event. I know some people are talking about, I think it's July. I could be wrong. It's either June or July, where SmackDown is going to be in Madison Square Garden. And people are talking about, oh my God, how amazing would that be? Cody Rhodes finishes the story, beats Roman Reigns at Madison Square Garden, SmackDown, where his dad almost won the championship there.
No.
I think that would be a great story, but really, you going to have Roman lose this monster reign SmackDown?
No, you're not. No, you don't.
I don't think so.
No, it's gonna be the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. Yeah, you just gotta finish the story, man. You gotta tell a story. Cody needs to lose. Needed to lose here. Now, look like a Monday morning quarterback, of course, but I think the loss here makes sense.
So then, if he is a top babyface, then going back to our earlier discussion, then is he the guy to beat Roman?
I think so. Right now, yeah. I don't see anybody else beating Roman Reigns outside of Cody Rhodes.
Okay. There you have it. Michael J. Putty.
When will that happen?
Say, Cody Rhodes going to be the guy.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm in the minority here. When will that happen? I don't know. But he is the guy.
No, you're not. You're not in minority. You're not in the minority there. A lot of people would agree with you there. I'm on the fence. I want it to happen, but I don't think it will. But moving on, Putty. Going on to AEW here. Our backyard here, Long Island, actually, this past week. But the biggest impact from that was Jay White coming back. Grumpy Omega at, oh boy, Lincoln 927. It's not just Jay White either. It's Bullet Club. He and Juice are bringing it to the States for real. Bullet Club, man. NAEW. Buddy, where does a Bullet Club right now, like, with AEW, all these factions, right, with all this talent, and only 2 nights, maybe you want to count AEW Dark, maybe you want to count AEW Elevation, but really it's AEW Rampage and AEW Dynamite, only 2 shows, limited time. How does the Bullet Club and Jay White fit into AEW right now?
Your daughter's asleep?
Yes, my daughter's asleep.
If you listen to my voice, I love you. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting Mark. Thank you for supporting the show. So I apologize for the next 20 seconds. Grumpy Omega, go fuck yourself. Okay? Bringing the Bullet Club to America for real? Where the fuck have you been, bro? The Bullet Club's been in Impact Wrestling for almost a year now. Okay? Don't sleep on Chris Bay. Don't sleep on Ace Austin. Juice Robinson was there for a while. Jay White was there for a while. Bullet Club's been in the United States, my friend. They've done a great job. In AEW, like you said, time limits. They're going to take spots from people. I think they'll be fine. Anywhere Bullet Club goes, they're awesome. Bullet Club has they're a brand. They're going to follow this brand. They're going to support this brand wherever they go. I think they fit perfectly in AEW. They'll be fine. I'm looking forward to what they do next. Who they feud with. Wasn't Kenny Omega in Bullet Club at one point?
Kenny Omega was in Bullet Club.
Everyone was,
yes.
right?
Yeah, I feel like, so many people were. It's hard to keep track. And it does make me wonder with Forbidden Door and whatnot and the relationship that they have with Impact, how does that play with, with Chris Bay over there in Austin Aries? How does that play with what's going on? Ace Austin. Well, yeah, huge slip there. Ace Austin, excuse me, respecting the name. How does that affect what's going on with AEW? Will that have some sort of crossover effect at some point? I wouldn't
be surprised.
Right?
Does Juice Robinson's
with
ex-partner, Fit Finley's son, come back? Because he's now the de facto leader of Bullet Club.
Right.
This opens so much more doors, no pun intended, to have more interactions and maybe build this brand, build this faction bigger than just these 2 guys here in AEW.
And can I just say this? For those that are disappointed or shocked that Jay White didn't go to WWE, really?
Are there people?
Yes, there are definitely people that they can't believe. Oh, I thought Jay White was going to go to WWE. Jay White was never going to WWE. Sure, there were conversations that were being involved, but hey, it could have been just simply trying to leverage for a better deal in AEW. That could have been a play there. I think Jay White was going to AEW all along because of the fact that, he has a Bullet Club. He has the connections there. He has the people that he's familiar with over there. And plus the crossover, the relationships he has with New Japan Pro Wrestling, with Impact through AEW. I mean, that was a no-brainer for me. I don't understand why people really thought Jay White would have gone to WWE. Of course, WWE had interest in him, but I don't think there was really interest in Jay White going there. What are your thoughts on that, buddy?
I agree. I would like to have seen Jay White go over there, see what they could have done with him. Again, you ain't a name in this business until you step foot in a WWE ring, but he's done a good job of it. I don't think they would have handled him properly, especially now with who's in charge.
Especially now.
I think Triple H would have killed it. I think Triple H would have done a good job with him. His track record he's proven himself. He does good job with people, especially people we care about, have a backstory. What was a couple months ago? They mentioned Bullet Club on WTV for the first time ever. So I think him in the Triple H regime would have been awesome, but it's a better fit in AEW.
For sure. It's just, again, why is Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets? Familiarity with the people that are there. And I think it's the same thing with Jay White.
Is that happening? Is spring training, training camp opening soon?
No, we have the draft still. So TikTok. Moving on, though, here. Speaking of TikTok. SmackDown, buddy. Major news dropped tonight from Triple H. We all thought it was just going to be another hoorah speech. It kind of was until he dropped this blockbuster at the end. Wrestling World CC at Wrestling WCC. Triple H announces that the WWE Draft will return in a few weeks and will change the game. Lots of emphasis on that. Change the game. What could that possibly mean, buddy? How is this draft going to be different from any of the other drafts that we've seen in WWE?
They released the date either May 5th or May 12th, so it's really in a matter of weeks. Don't know, man. Don't know. I mean, what does that mean? It's who knows? I'm so lost. I always love the draft. It's my favorite time. One of my favorite events. Because I do get amped. Like, what's going to happen? Who's going where? What's going to change? Fresh new storylines. Fresh new matchups. But what that whole word you said, change the game. What does that mean? Are we going to bring back maybe general managers? There's going to be a stricter brand split. That doesn't make sense. Are they going to do it differently? Maybe fans will get involved somehow. I don't think so. I think.
What was the last draft? You're a big fan of the draft. What was the last draft for you that kind of changed the game, so to speak? What was that game changer?
It's been a while since I can honestly say a game changer. But one of the most impactful drafts was 4 or 5 years ago when they split the New Day. Remember, Big E on his own. Big E was successful. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods were successful. Then they got back together at the end. So I think that splitting up the New Day was very an iconic moment, just them in the ring. And
was that really so much a game changer, though? I don't actually know if that was a game changer, per se. That was significant.
Would Big E have been world champion if he was still New Day?
I think the problem is with Big E's title reign was so insignificant, unfortunately to say, that it doesn't necessarily mean a game changer. Yes, he won a world championship. Kudos to him. But he would even tell you, he's been on record to say, he wishes his title reign was more significant than what it was. I think every fan would agree with that.
I think so.
We all thought he was going to be a major player, and just, of course, the injury that happened, that's held him back. But just looking at the championship itself, lackluster. It was very lackluster. So, I don't see that being the game changer. I mean, the initial draft itself, of course, was a game changer. The splitting of the brands, the splitting of the championships, it gave general managers. I really can't think of another time when it was so impactful, other than maybe Triple H going to another brand. The biggest thing will be Roman Reigns, right? You're changing the game. It has to do something with the bloodline. It has to do something with Roman Reigns right away. That's what I'm thinking, at least. But, Roman Reigns and the bloodline, they go back and forth, different brands. So what does this mean then? It's not like he's exclusive to one brand. If he was, then that would be huge.
Maybe they go back to that. Maybe they pull a Brock Lesnar twist. When the brand split first happened, then champion go back and forth until Stephanie signed into exclusive deal with SmackDown. And as you know, that's when Triple H became.
Oh, wait a minute, buddy. Is this how they split the belts? Is this how they do it?
Maybe.
Because that would be the game changer.
But there you go. Because there have been rumors of new title belt designs. There have been rumors of bringing back the big gold belt. So maybe they sign Roman Reigns to an exclusive SmackDown contract and they have to crown a new champion on Raw.
Wow. And I know Triple H is not a fan of the Universal Championship. Do they change the name of that even? Or would they go even another step further? Again, that would be a game changer.
3 weeks ago, I would have said yes. Nowadays, who knows?
Well said. To me, I mean, I think that has to be it. That's the only game-changing factor that I can think of right off the top of my head, other than a big signing. But I don't think they're inclined to sign anyone anytime soon, especially on a big level. So it has to be circled around that.
That makes the only thing I can think that makes sense.
Right. But you said, do you have the date? You said
it was either it was either May 12th or May 5th. They had.
All right. So we're literally he said short weeks. Triple H was not long. We're short weeks away. So I'm sure we're going to get more details as that come out. Maybe we'll have some leaks and some rumors coming aboard. Looking forward to see what happens here. We have 2 drafts back to back. Looking forward to NFL and WWE. Exciting times, man. But Putty, that is all I have here for TV Takedown.
Just looked it up on my phone. May 8th. I was way off. I thought it was a SmackDown, but it's Monday, May 8th, live from Jacksonville, Florida. The draft.
No way. In Jacksonville, no less?
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Maybe they'll draft somebody from AEW? Nerds. I already see that fucking tweet.
Oh my God. Putty, you have to be careful, man. Our audience
agrees. They agree with me. They know who I'm talking about. Who I'm talking about doesn't listen to the show.
No. I've heard people say, hey, maybe we shouldn't be calling them marks and so forth. They're right. They're right. This is our audience.
We're marks.
Die-hard, passionate.
We're marks.
I'm literally named Mark.
Yeah, so it's all love. It's all love, baby. It's all love. You know what I'm saying? Dude love. Anyway.
Nice flashback reference there.
So I do best. Hey, Marcus, any go home thoughts for you, my friend?
Well, by the time this show airs, Easter Sunday is already passed. Putty, what will you be doing for Easter weekend?
Yeah, boring shit, family stuff, blah, blah, blah. You? Baby's first Easter.
Baby's first Easter, indeed. Tonight she did, she colored eggs. It came out nice. We did the whole baby-proof version of that.
That sucks.
What do you mean sucks?
That sucks, bro. I thought you were cool, man. I thought you were cool.
How does it mean? Why is it
Found out today, apparently PETA came out saying it's not cool to dye eggs. Instead, you should use, ready? You sitting down?
Yeah.
Potatoes? That's not a joke. That's not a joke. Look it up. I'm not dyeing potatoes. I'm not putting potatoes around my house.
But why? Why?
I don't know. They didn't get into it. I didn't read the article. I thought it was so stupid. But no disrespect to PETA. I love what they do. Good work. Love animals. But eggs and potatoes? No, thank you.
I mean, okay. I would love to be educated in this on like why potatoes. I mean, I guess because what? Because eggs are baby chickens, et cetera, et cetera.
Maybe, probably.
So that what the case is.
Potatoes don't smell. Well, they can be out for a while without smelling, and they don't go bad. Blah blah blah. Maybe, but I don't see you dyeing a potato.
I mean, I eat eggs every day for breakfast. I'm a meat eater. If that offends people, I'm very sorry, but that's just the way I live. I don't know what else to say about that.
I wonder.
But, yeah, my daughter, she did a good job though. Did a good job. It was a mess everywhere, but it was cute.
I mentioned this during Christmas. Like, if you don't believe in the whole Catholic Christian Jesus story, what do you celebrate for Christmas? Like, what do you do for Easter? Like, what's the point of Easter then?
Right. But I don't really understand. Like, I know why Easter's a thing, but like, why the bunnies and why the Easter eggs?
So weird.
Like, I don't understand how that came to be into relationship of like, Jesus dying and then Jesus rising. I don't understand where that fits into the whole storyline. Who's booking this shit, buddy?
Yeah, seriously. Somebody doesn't make sense. A bunny, and then like, is it an actual bunny, or is it a human
Bad
sized?
Bunny?
Is it a human sized bunny? We haven't talked about Bad Bunny getting injured, right? How crazy was that?
Wait, so is Bad Bunny legit injured?
No.
Okay.
It just proved my point where somebody got hurt, and I think it was you questioning. Oh, it was Raquel Gonzalez, NXT champion.
Oh, Roxanne.
Thank you, Roxanne Perez. When she collapsed, oh, is this real? Is something going on? I said if it was real, the cameras wouldn't be on her. They would have cut it out. They wouldn't be showing you this. And it just solidified my point with Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon goes down, boom, we never see him again.
Right. Even when Finn Balor got injured, like we
never
never
see
see what was going on there.
But the camera was aimed in on Bad Bunny. I'm hoping that it was just storyline.
Hey, can I just give a quick shout out to Finn Balor? Right? Quick shout out to Finn Balor. Dude is in his early 40s, right? Went into this match with a grade 2 calf tear. Supposed to be at 6 to 8 weeks. Was able to heal up in 3 weeks, just in time for WrestleMania. And then gets 14 stitches in his head and this disgusting gash in his head.
Get it right. Staples. Ringside got staples in his head.
Staples. Excuse me. Ooh. What did I say? Stitches?
Stitches. No. Staples.
No, staples.
In his head.
Staples.
Ringside. Not in a sterile environment. Ringside. With black paint on his head.
Finished the match. Took some big bumps after that, too.
Should I?
What a tough son of a bitch.
Tough son of a bitch. Tough son of a bitch. Get him a Bud Light. Should I be insulted?
What?
You're rattling off all these names that are in their 40s.
It gives me hope, man. I'm near my 40s.
You didn't mention me at all. I'm in my 40s. And
you're not in that type of shape, my man.
And I need 2 energy drinks to get through the day. Ugh. Wow.
If you take one bump from one of these guys, you'd be dead.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't be dead. I just couldn't get fucking back up for like 3 weeks. I have one of those fucking traction neck braces.
It was funny because I was watching Hell in a Cell, right? And then it was like, how old is Edge? And he's the same age as my brother Kenny.
Wow.
And I was looking at what Edge was doing in Hell in a Cell. I'm just laughing my ass off, just thinking about my brother taking any one of these bumps or doing any of these moves. I'm like, there's no fucking way in hell. He'd be in a hospital for at least a year.
Funny you bring that up because, by the way, Sundays on A&E are Superstar Sundays, and they do a great job with these biographies. They're doing an even better job with these rivalries. I'm getting my friend who comes over every Sunday. We watch Rivals together. And he asked Green Man, do you watch Rivals at all? Do you watch the AEW biographies? Green Man goes, no, I've been watching wrestling my whole life. I know everything. A student of the game never stops learning. Because I always learn something I didn't know. So I highly recommend watching any of the AEW documentaries or specials on WWE. They do a phenomenal job. And one of them was Rivals, Triple H versus Batista. Of course, as you know, one of the ones I had to watch first.
Of course.
Great job. I don't know what he is now, but WrestleMania 21 to 22, I am the same height and weight of Batista, yet we look massively different. I am the same height and weight as David Batista, and yet, I need to go to the gym. I need to go to a gym.
Yeah, you definitely need to sign up for a gym stat.
Anyway, let me do that.
I started working out again this week, so I feel great.
All about you. It's all about you.
Hey, listen, I'm saying, let's do this together. I'm on track. I have to lose 20 pounds by the fall.
I have to lower my sugar.
Let's do this together.
Right? So all right, I don't really eat that much sugar. So let me cut out Jack Daniels honey, right? Let me start drinking. Jack Daniels, no sugar. So I'm back to regular Jack Daniels. And I tried to keep my calories. I got a calorie app on my phone. Inputted everything I did. I think you did that one time.
Yeah, I do it still right now. I'm doing it.
Did it for a day, never went back. I ran out of calories for my dinner.
You gotta give yourself. You ran out of calories for dinner?
I had like 200
How many calories
for dinner. Because I think I'm supposed to eat like 1,200 or 800 calories. I forget what it was offhand, but I had like 200 calories left for dinner.
Well, a healthy diet is 2,000 calories a day, but like you got to go based on height and weight, etc., etc.
Goes back to my point. I don't know how to eat healthy. I think that's something we need to learn in schools. vegetables, fruits, vegetables. Yeah, but I need to know how to eat healthy. Anyway, let me do that.
It's something like, yeah, we're over. We can talk more about this off air.
Let me go do that. Mark Schwann, where can you find you on social medias?
Oh, you can go to my website, yourfavoriteactor.com. You can find all my social media links on there, including Shot of Wrestling episodes and interviews being updated as we speak. And as far as Shot of Wrestling goes, you can find us in all forms of social media at Shot of Wrestling. Give us a like, give us a follow, let us know how we're doing. And if there's anything you want us to talk about, let us know. And we'll gladly take that into consideration and bring it up for our next episode.
Also stay tuned on this very feed, as most of you may know by now, a Shot of BCW, an exclusive podcast about all things BCW. New episodes should be dropping in the next few days, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So for Mark Schwann, for Alice Starr, I've been your host at Local J Putty. Until next week, Putty out.
Hey baby, I hear the bell ringing, hip tosses and body slams. Oh my. And maybe you seem a bit confused, yeah baby, but I got you pinned. Ha 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 ha. But I don't know what to do when I see them with that golden case. They're cashing it in. Authority all in my face. What is a man to do? Good night, everybody.